Welcome back to Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. I am, as always, Chat Show, but I have missed you. Where the hell have you been? That is good cold brew. We're coming to you once again from the West Side Comedy Theater. It's been a couple of weeks since I was able to say that, and I am very glad to be back at our home. We want to thank everyone here from the West Side Comedy Theater who allow us to come in on a Sunday afternoon. If you're in the Los Angeles area and you'd like to see some great stand-up, sketch, and or improv, check out westsidecomedy.com for their calendar. There's some great shows here, damn it, that you're missing, unless you're not. Sorry? Seemed like you said something, Sam.
Nope, didn't say anything.
I was all on my own there?
Yep.
Huh. I really have been away for a couple weeks.
You really have. Well, welcome back.
Me talk funny one day, pretty one day. Me talk pretty one day.
That's a David Sedaris.
Sammy, you were in Chicagoland.
So were you.
As was I.
Yep.
We did not meet up.
We did. We high-fived for a brief minute at the George Wendt roast.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we were supposed to have a meal. We were supposed to see a ball game.
Yep.
But we did actually find ourselves sitting side by side at the George Wendt roast at the Second City main stage.
Yes.
Which I don't know that I'd ever been in, and you said you performed on.
I have.
What did you do?
I did a show there in 2013 for the Just for Laughs Festival with Horatio Sands and Matt Walsh.
Well, now you're just bragging.
Well, you asked.
That's true.
But yes, it's a great stage, great venue, and it was a tremendous show that you and I got to see.
Oh, my.
With Bob Odenkirk and Keegan-Michael Key and Jason Sudeikis. All roasting the
Dave Koechner.
George Wendt.
There were two of those little microphones that are very, very thin, and they come up together, right? And people constantly adjusting them because no one's comfortable with the fact that they've been set perfectly and pick up all the sound. And Dave Koechner, when he finally got up, had enough and just lifted one and carried it around like a little chihuahua.
Yep.
Kept adjusting it, carrying it around. Oh man, he's funny. Everyone was funny.
Yes.
Odenkirk went off on sweet Tim Kazurinsky. I'm not saying it correctly.
Kazurinsky.
There we go.
Yep.
Or Sweet Chuck to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
From the Police Academy series.
There you go.
If I may, you were not there for when Triumph came out. So Triumph came out to roast the dais. And
there's no one funnier.
My favorite Triumph joke was directed at Joel Murray.
Sure.
Can
I guess?
Friend of the show.
Something about
it might have been
the least of the funny Murrays.
The joke was there are 4 Murray brothers in show business, and somehow we got the 5th most famous one. Followed by Joel Murray. You are the Jim Belushi of the Stephen Baldwins.
Thanks, Jaden Fox. See you, Cam.
Which I'm happy to report no one laughed harder at than Joel Murray.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, his handle is 9 of 9.
Yeah.
9th of 9.
It's pretty good.
You.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was a great time. I had to leave midway because of the...
because of the work.
I was there doing a motion picture.
Yeah.
With a great crew, and I want to thank everyone working on the teacher film in Chicagoland. We were way out in the suburbs, beyond Schaumburg. Barrington, I believe, was the neck of the woods. And at the end of a long drive, a huge, expansive property and big, giant house that my character allegedly owns. But so far out that you think, we've been brought here to be killed.
Oh.
Yeah, this is not going to go well for any of us.
Yeah.
And then you look out over the huge property, and in the middle of a field, you ever seen one of those hard rubber torsos with no head?
Oh yeah,
that I
for
think
punching. Yeah,
that you're supposed to box with, just out in the middle of this expansive field. And everyone was wondering what it was doing out there until we were informed target practice. And that's when we really started to worry. No one run into the field.
Were you on the DuPont farm?
Apparently. Apparently.
Okay.
Jamie, you, since we've been gone 2 weeks, what do you have to report?
I know, you would think I would have more.
Well, I did a couple of audio only with
you did.
Greg Cromer and Tommy Dewey, which I highly recommend you go out and listen to immediately. And you were...
Tattoo. Oh, I did get a new tattoo.
Yes.
Thank you. Our guest reminded me.
Thank you. The one in the room who knows you least.
I mean, it's not interesting.
Yes, it is.
I don't know. That's what, like, Somebody I worked with once asked me what I did this week, and I'm like, oh, typical Jamie things. And then she said, like, what? Go to Disneyland, get a new tattoo, and write comedy sketches? I'm like, oh, yeah. That's like that's what I would do on an average week.
That's all of an answer we needed, really.
That's what I would do on an average week. She was just teasing me because she didn't like me. But
that's not
Everybody likes you.
Write to us and tell us how much you like Jamie at kpcsfanmail@gmail.com.
No, now you're just like open the floodgates of like hatred coming my way. Thanks
at gmail.com. Recent guests, you ask? All right, stop yelling. Billy Bob Thornton, Christopher Guest, Lauren Graham, Brian Cranston, J.K. Simmons, Craig Ferguson, Michaela Watkins. Where was I for any of these? Oh, that's right, I was here. Upcoming guests: Jenna Fisher, the wonderful Mary Lynn Reiska, Paul Rudd, and Pamela Adlon, whose second season debuted only a couple of days ago. Very exciting. Our guest today appears in the show last season as well as the second season. And we were all at the, I guess you'd call it a premiere of the first 2 episodes, not too long ago. And man, oh man, are we going to talk about that show. So happy with it. And also, as I showed Sam, proof on my email chain.
I can vouch.
Ricky Gervais was reconfirmed only about 3 minutes ago for October 29th, Sunday. Uh-oh. He couldn't guarantee whether or not we'd have supper afterwards, but he did reconfirm that he'll be here. I was going to bring the cameras to supper. That's why I'm mentioning it. I was going to have, preset them, not tell them, kind of thing.
He wouldn't notice.
No, just so people could see just how much he really does drink. Well, that's all I've got for the preamble. Next week will be an audio only, and then the week after that we'll be back here with Matt Besser.
Ooh.
Matt Besser, I think October 2nd is that. Yeah, that's it.
The first.
First?
Yeah, second.
Monday's the second, that's right. I was thinking I have something on Monday as well. Our guest today.
You're thinking of your own schedule.
Yep.
Out loud.
One last thing is we'll say that I went to the Toronto Film Festival, seems like 36 hours ago, for the world premiere of a movie I talked about a bunch here when I was going back and forth a year ago, called Three Christs, based on a true story. John Avnet directed. Fried green tomatoes fella. And Walton Goggins and his teeth sat next to me during the premiere. And it's one of these giant double-decker 2,500 seat theaters. I think it's the main big for world premieres at the Toronto Film Festival. And after all the preamble, they took us to our seats, the cast, the director, and they were like balcony first row. And I thought, balcony, that's weird. Screen's giant, so that's fine. Then I realized why this happens, because as soon as the film ends, a row of lights light up that only shine on the cast and the director while we are supposed to take bows and people applaud. So if you remember the Inglourious Basterds world premiere at Cannes,
yes, I do.
They'll applaud for, in the case of that one, 27 minutes, and of course, Quentin hated that. And whereas Walton Goggins' teeth and I got very embarrassed in about 90 seconds. Because it went on for quite a while. And we were also told, like Cannes, they'll boo you out of there if things didn't go well.
Wow.
So that was a relief. And I'm so very glad to be back in these formerly United States. Our guest today, born in the land of the free, home of the brave, but momentarily raised during those important years, I might add, from 2 to 6, in the godforsaken land of creme fraiche. Please welcome Diedrich Bader!
Hello.
Bader.
Yeah, we've kind of assimilated as much as
I'm going to go Bader because I struggled so long with Diedrich. I kept putting a T in there.
Yeah, most people do.
Yeah, because
It's a much more common name. Diedrich is a very old name. It's like Ichabod in if you were American. That's how old it is. Very old-fashioned. Yeah, nobody uses it.
Now the family heritage was such that that name made sense.
Yeah, I mean, it was my middle name. I'm Carl Diedrich Bader. And then when I know
Everything is a lie.
and then I got a pilot when I was on vacation in Santa Fe when I was 20 years old. And I went for a walk. When I got back, my mother and her friend Pooka were sitting, you got to trust Pooka, were sitting around the table. They'd finished a bottle of wine and they decided I should change my name to Diedrich.
For professional reasons.
For professional reasons. They thought it sounded much better.
First of all, this Pooka is of the Pooka shell family?
The famous Pooka shell family.
Yeah.
Could you spell Pooka for me?
Pooka.
No H?
No H.
No.
Okay.
No, it's based off the spirit. Her father was like a shamanistic character.
And you allowed this person to weigh in on you changing
I totally
your name?
did. Yeah, that's what I do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I feel like she communed with the spirits.
Sure.
Brought it back.
Much better than just your mom making a random decision.
That's right. Exactly.
I went to my parents when I was 11
Yeah.
and said the Pollock was too clunky.
Okay.
I'm going with Kevin Kline.
Oh, nice.
There wasn't a famous Kevin Kline at the
At
time.
that time. Yeah.
Is my mom's maiden name.
Okay.
And now people can crack a lot of credit card codes.
They'll need more than
What was your
that.
mom's birthday? Then we can get your.
Right. And her first name. I'm sure
her
it's
first
all
name.
available
What
on
was
the
the name
internet.
of your first pet, Little Fluff?
Everything's on the internet.
Your favorite instrument?
My dad named our first animal Little Fluff, and
Aw.
I'm still living that name down. It's not a name, Dad.
More of a description. It's kind of descriptive.
It's a total descriptive thing.
Yeah.
What does that dog? What's your dog look like, Little Fluff? What's its name? Same. What? So yeah, Kevin Kline. She said you're not
Kevin
changing
Kline.
it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, my mom. I got this.
Carl's
Western.
too easy.
Carl's too easy.
Yeah, let's choose a name
Yeah.
that will give you trouble the rest of your life.
And how do you spell that? And
Yeah.
initially I spelled it, this is going on about the name, but Diedrich, so that because most people know that name. But then once the wall came down and my uncle, whose middle name is Diedrich, went to the town where my mother's father was from.
Sure.
Or grandfather, I'm sorry, was from. They found out that the Diedrich name, that spelling was really, really old. And so he said, I just want you to know, just to be aware, you can change it to, or you can keep it as Diedrich, whatever you want to do. So I changed it back to Diedrich.
That's pretty great that he let you know that.
Yeah, no, yeah. So yeah, the name is still passed on. I haven't done it with my kids, but yeah. But it's a very old-fashioned name.
So you get to help idiots like me with your first and last name.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bader is the American pronunciation of it. If you're in Germany, it would be Bader.
And you go with the American one?
I do.
It's where you spend most of your time?
Yeah, and also we've been here so long. 1870 is when my family moved.
Really?
Yeah. So the unification of Germany, we left during that time. Both sides of the family.
And where did they settle?
New Jersey.
Sure.
Yeah. Good old New Jersey.
Can we be more specific? That's
Atlantic City and Montclair. So Atlantic City was the Bader side, and my great-grandfather, was the mayor of Atlantic City.
What?
And the original airport was called Bader Field, and the original Miss America contest he helped create when it was called Miss Neptune. That's why I became a judge on the Miss America contest.
Is that right?
A little bit of history for you.
Someone did that family tree?
Yeah, did the family tree and was like, are you the Bader that's in? And it was like, yeah, Ed Bader. Also on the first professional football team. I can't remember the name of it right now. It's on the Wikipedia thing. Ed Bader.
Luth Eskimos.
Your great-grandfather?
My great-grandfather.
Holy crap.
Was your great grandfather Rich Uncle Pennybags from Monopoly?
No. What, because of the forehead?
because Monopoly, the Monopoly board is Atlantic City.
Oh, is Atlantic City? Yeah. No.
So I'm like, is it?
No. Look up Ed Bader, though. You'll see on the Wikipedia page.
That is also astonishing, well, for a number of reasons. But first, let's go with, please tell us everything you can remember about your youthful days in France.
Oh, well, yeah, we moved there, obviously, when I was really, really young. My dad was the European...
You were 2 years old, according to the research.
So, yeah, I basically just picked up English, and then everybody was speaking French around me. So that was really deeply alienating, and rather than really pick up the language quickly, which I think a lot of smarter kids would have done, all I did was kind of withdraw into my own space. And so in order to draw me out, my mom was constantly giving me activities, and I was very quiet, and so I really got into seeing silent movies and watching silent comedy guys like Harpo Marx.
Sure.
And that was extremely influential for me because I associated with them immediately, and I could see that they were thinking and I'd like that.
You studied Harper Marx, so your first English words were
yeah, Buster Keaton, and really specifically because I was so young, Charlie Chaplin.
Sure.
Because Charlie Chaplin had that combination of really great physical comedy, but also a sentiment that really appeals to a kid, you know. And then I saw the movie The Kid, and that was transformative for me. And then I wanted to be an actor. I worked up a little Charlie Chaplin act in my room in our apartment, and I went to my favorite. This is when I was 5, so we'd been there for a while. I went to my favorite theater. My mother's friend took me, and it was my favorite theater because they had live musical accompaniment. So there was an organ player that.
What?
Yeah, the film burned. Got caught like that. People booed. I went, nobody's going to boo Charlie Chaplin, is how I pronounced it. And I ran in between the audience and the screen, and I started doing my Charlie Chaplin act, and the organ player started playing a little song.
Oh, you're done.
That was it.
You're
I was
done.
I was in.
Yeah.
And then I did a roll at the end and a big finish, and the crowd went crazy.
I had a similar ham bone thing.
Oh yeah?
And it was a turning point too.
They're big.
Where you just get up in front of strangers without any encouragement.
No, nobody's asked you.
Something goes off in your brain that goes, this makes sense.
Yeah, it's not like anyone turned to me. Can anyone do a Charlie Chaplin? Because we are very bored.
We are speaking in English with broken accent for those of you who do speak English.
I never learned how to speak French, just...
That's nice. If you help, you may have a crepe.
Then I was like, oh! Yeah, ran down there. Yeah.
Did you sign autographs?
No, no one asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty great, though. So you didn't ultimately pick up the language at all?
No, I would say I just lightly conversational, the very transactional, I should say, more than anything. And then I forgot it almost immediately when I got here because I really was beaten up a lot when I first got here. I was a little kid, and everybody thought I was French because I guess I had a slight accent or something. And when I was hit, instead of saying ow or ah, I would say aïe. Because that's what little French kids say. So they thought that was just hilarious and would hit me in the hall for no reason other than to hear me say aïe like that.
By the way,
that's great. Bam!
It's tragic and I don't believe in their tactics, but that is funny.
I'll give them that.
Yeah. And they weren't wrong in speaking out funny.
No.
Yeah.
Come on.
The way you just pronounced your pain was quite humorous.
Break in the day.
You started out tiny, you say. So the growth spurt happened when?
15.
And
15.
do you literally hear your bones stretching?
I felt like they were cracking. Yeah, we actually had to go to. I lived in D.C. and we had to go to Johns Hopkins because I was having such problems.
Yeah,
like it happened so fast. That
it never happened for me. That's why I'm so curious.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if it's going to happen with my son too, because I was around this age when I started sprouting up. He's about to turn 14 on Wednesday. So yeah, we had to go to Johns Hopkins. I grew up all crooked too because it happened so fast. It was like a foot and 3 inches in less than 6 months.
What?
So yeah, I was like, accordion. Yeah, but I would lay in bed at night just because it was really painful.
Did you
Actual
think you were a Wolverine at some point?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I was in a lot of pain. So yeah, we went to doctors and everything.
And then later, when you saw A Werewolf in London,
I really associated with it so much. Yeah, I really did. Yeah, I was actually really happy because I was. There are 4 of us, and I have 2 older brothers. So I'm the youngest, I was the baby. So I only wore hand-me-downs my entire life until I jumped up in size. Because they are like 5'10", and so
you shot past them.
I shot past them and I was thrilled that I didn't have to wear their clothes anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're old clothes. I mean, I wore bell-bottoms in the 80s, you know.
Weren't they coming back in the 80s?
No. Early 80s.
Oh yeah, no.
No, they were really dead.
They kind of came back like in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like 70s
A minute and a
fashion
half.
came up. In the 90s.
But not for guys and not plaid.
That's where
That's where we draw the line.
Oh man.
Yeah.
How old were you when you kissed your first French girl?
How old was I when I kissed my first French girl? Oh yeah, well that was in Paris, so I was probably about 6. What was her name? Jacqueline? something like that. She was cute, brown hair. She tied it in the back with a ponytail.
And was it a French kiss as we know the term, or simply so on a technicality?
No, I would say the first. I would say technicality. The first French kiss, I think I was 15.
15?
15, yeah.
Well, you had to go through the growth spurt first.
I had to go through the growth spurt to be attractive.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're all crooked now. Kiss me. Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So after the growth spurt and things, are you, because of your size and still young age, are you forced into participating in sports, or did you gravitate to them at all?
I really wanted a real crew. Because my cousin did it, and I watched it, and it's just a great sport. So I went to a high school.
This is in D.C.?
Yeah, Alexandria, Virginia was really where I grew up. I say D.C. because it's the area. It's like a bedroom community of D.C. My dad worked on the Hill. So yeah, we would row on the Potomac by all the monuments and everything like that. I was actually the shortest guy in my boat. I was like the mascot, other than, of course, the coxswain, who was tiny. I was like the mascot because I was 2 inches shorter than everybody else by 3, sometimes 4 inches shorter. Big guys. But it was a great big school. There was 1,200 people in a class in my school because it was an all-city school for Alexandria. So they had a massive pool to choose from for athletes, and so to get on a team was hard.
To give you my level of maturity,
yes,
it's important that you know that my takeaway from all of that was Tiny Coxman. Just want to be clear.
You said God.
Yeah.
Kevin, for $10,000, spell coxswain.
Nope.
It is different than you think, with an X and a swain in there.
He doesn't offer that kind of money unless it's a sure thing in his favor.
Unless it's real.
Yeah, unless there's no chance.
Yeah.
Man. So, what were there other sports at all that attracted you? Because again, I'm thinking when I was in school, if there's anyone that size, they get drafted.
Well, again, because it was such an incredibly large school, I would not have made the football team because I would be really small. I went the first day of practice because I had played in my previous high school, and so I had my pads and everything still, and I ran up to the line and I was like, called it and ran back to the locker room. I didn't even go to drills or anything. Some really big fellas. And I realized that not only would I not get on the team, but in the process I would get my ass kicked again. And to avoid the IE situation, better to go back to the locker room.
If someone startles you to this day with any...
Does it my back end, evidently. I don't know what this gesture was.
It was a back end.
My beret down.
Oh, man. So now, you had the calling at such a young age, but then, according to the research, it wasn't until that family vacation in New
I had gone to North Carolina School of the Arts. So I had gone my freshman and sophomore year to School of the Arts. I was returning for my junior year, but we were in between my sophomore and junior year when we went to Santa Fe.
Right.
And I was going to be a stage actor. I really had no intention of moving out here or being a screen actor at all.
You were studying drama.
I was studying drama. I wanted to be a Shakespearean actor. That's really what I wanted to do. And
because you heard there was
so much work,
no money in it.
Yeah, that's right. I guess it wasn't a realistic thing.
But you could travel the world.
Yeah. Also, I really wanted to be ensconced in like the Oregon Shakespeare Festival and never leave, and just kind of grow old and do Shakespeare and know the whole canon. And that's really what I wanted to do. Because I was just really deeply drawn to it, and it's actually a really beautiful thing.
From reading it or seeing shows?
From seeing shows.
Yeah.
In the D.C. area, there's the Folger Shakespeare Theater, and I used to go all the time. And
did someone turn you on to that initially?
No, I went myself. And then I read the plays, and then when I was at School of the Arts, of course, you have to do a lot of Shakespeare plays, and then do the monologues and scenes. And then during my time off, I would watch tapes of the Royal Shakespeare Company performing Shakespeare. I was really into it. I was totally into it, and that was really my goal. We went to a dinner party of a local artist. Pooka's mom was an artist, and there was a casting director, and she said, "You should really come in and read just for the experience." And I was like, "No, I would be a Shakespearean actor." That's how I talked. And she said, "Just for the experience, come on in and just see what it's like." So I read for the young gunslinger, which was going to be cast locally. And she goes, "That was really funny." And I went, "Oh, thanks." She goes, "It's not a comedy part. So why don't you read for this? It's like the Barney Fife character of the, it's like sheriffs in this Western go out, and I'm like the deputy, the goofy deputy." It was supposed to be an older guy, but she said, "Why don't you read it and just see what happens? We'll send in the tape." So when she sent in the tape, and the producers came to Santa Fe, and I got the part.
This was a TV pilot.
TV pilot called Long Arm. It's pretty terrible.
Was it for a network?
It was for ABC, which is the network I'm on now. And anyway, so the whole time this is just a lark. And but I got to ride horses, and I got to dress as a cowboy.
Yeah, you
played
did.
poker a lot with our per diem, and guys, like we're in a saloon. We were actually in a saloon, and we were playing. I think they built the thing for Silverado, where we shot. So that was kind of fun, and then one of the actors, Lee DeBro, older fella, a character actor, said, "What are you up to tonight? We're going out." And I go, "I was going to go see Chinatown." And he goes, "Going to see Chinatown? Have you seen it before?" I said, "No." And he goes, and I went, "Okay, that's kind of a weird old dude." I don't know. I was like, "I don't know. See you later, Lee." So halfway through the picture, there's Lee as a younger man, and he does this to Nicholson, teasing him because he's got this scar on his nose from getting cut by the director.
John Huston.
No.
No, the other one.
No. Remember, it was the Polish director who directed
Polanski.
Polanski, who cuts his nose. Anyway.
The password is pedophile.
Anyway, I saw this, and I thought, that's unbelievably cool. Like,
Yes.
we're part of this sort of small world that exists throughout time.
Right.
And it just goes on and on and on. Before that exact moment, I thought live theater was really all I wanted to do. But I realized the beauty of something where you capture it, and during that time, it's there forever, like
Right.
amber. And anytime he wants to glance on it, he can. And that little gesture changed everything. And that's when I decided to move out here.
Regarding your guns,
Yeah?
the research shows
Yes?
you went with the sexy cross draw.
I did the cross draw. Yeah, I did the cross draw. I didn't know I wanted to do it up until that moment, but when she asked, "How do you want to wear your guns?" I was like, cross draw, without a doubt. Do the cross draw. It's like...
Is that impressive at all that that's part of the research?
To the cross draw. That was really impressive. I was super impressed. But it was one of those things, like, I never thought about it before.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, so a similar story is when I was cast as Jethro in the Beverly Hillbillies, in the initial draft, it's terrible.
However, Jim Varney, huge Shakespearean actor.
Oh, yes, he is. Actually,
Huge.
we went back and forth.
Deep
it was
cut.
Really, really lovely. I actually really liked working with Jim a lot.
Yeah.
Real gentleman. Great storyteller. Anyway, so in the initial draft, Jethro was just Jethro. And then once I was cast, they decided, we
have
wanted
a
to do
sister.
Jethrine as well, the twin sister, which was she was only in like 12 episodes or something.
For a reason.
Yeah, right, because it was really terrible. And the way he walked around was so not feminine. Anyway, so I go to the wig shop, and they sat me down, and they go, "So what kind of wig are you thinking about?" And right before they finished talking, I went, "Veronica Lake." And when I said it, I couldn't believe that I apparently had thought about this before,
Such
but somewhere deep in my psyche where I didn't realize that, because they barely finished the question. Veronica Lake. I want to look like Veronica Lake. I guess as an enormous guy, I really wanted to be a tiny little girl.
That's right.
Somehow. So yeah, that's why Jethrine has that wavy kind of. They went for it every day. The ladies loved it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Something to do.
It's something for them to do.
You went with the cross draw.
Yeah, did the cross draw. Yeah.
Had you
my
seen
first shot.
that?
No, never seen it. I didn't even know what it was when I said
Much
it.
like Veronica Lake, these things were just in there.
They're just in there somewhere until somebody asks the question, then you never know.
Yeah.
That's one of the great things about our career, our chosen profession, is you find something out about yourself that you don't know.
Let's go back momentarily to the Jim Varney experience. Now, here's a Shakespearean trained actor,
Yeah.
Southern guy, gets a local commercial.
Yes.
Vern, hey Vern, hey Vern.
Ernest is the
Ernest.
character. He says Vern. Yeah.
Hey Vern.
Yeah.
He says.
Yeah.
Started as a local ad. Was my memory and understanding.
That's right. And everybody thinks that he's from their area in the South.
Right.
Because he had the brilliant idea, and this was Jim's idea, to do every local branch as, instead of just, he named the dealership. So he did it specifically, and they just did, if you notice, it's all one take. So he did one take where he named the local dealership of, somewhere, and then they just did it again, just rebooted it, and he did exactly the same bit, only you got a loose wire, get that right here. And then, just the same bit. So that bit will go for, and he'll do 300 markets in the South. He blanketed the South. And everyone in the South goes, oh, he's from my town because he did the local dealership.
That's right.
Like, and then, no, he's not actually.
Where was he from?
Hell if I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's in Philadelphia, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. He, Kentucky, I think. Boy, that boy could drink. He really could drink. We, on the Hillbillies, they told me I had, well, how many days was it? 3 days off, right? Because they were like, oh, you're not working tomorrow, which was Friday, and then it got the weekend. We were up in Northern California, and so I got 3 days off. And I see Jim at the bar and he goes, hey now, how you doing? I go, I'm pretty good, Jim. He goes, what you drinking? I go, well, I don't know. Martini would be nice. Oh, I have one of those too. You want a dirty? I go, yeah, sure. And then another member of the crew comes up and goes, hey now, what you drinking? He goes, oh, well, I'm a bourbon drinker. Ah, that sounds good. I'll have a bourbon. He drank every single type of thing. We drank until 2 a.m, and then we went to his room and drank through the entire minibar. And like every type of booze. And I got sick in his bathroom, came out, we drank some more. He goes, you gotta cleanse your palate. Some more booze. So it's like 3 a.m. or something. I'm like, Jim, you really can. I mean, it's like epic. You can drink epically. And he goes, well, son, I'm half Welsh, I'm half Cherokee. So what choice do you think I had? I was like, oh yeah, I guess that. So you're saying you're an alcoholic, essentially. So then I get back to my room, and the little red light is flashing. This is pre-cell phone days, of course. So the little red light is flashing. I'm like, oh no.
On the telephone.
Oh no, little red light on the phone. So it's like, AD, call me immediately, whatever time it is. I'm like, okay, it's about 4. I call him, hey man, what's going on? I go, all right, we changed scenes. Your first scene in the picture is up first this morning. And I go, okay, what's the call time?
6.
5.
5. It's 4.
Yeah, it's 4.
And you've already thrown up and drank more.
Yes. So that's
Your
Jethro's first scene in that
scene
movie
in
where I'm driving like this. I'm driving, by the way. The hillbilly mobile.
On a flatbed?
Yeah,
On a tow?
No, not towed. They're not doing the shot maker, is what you're thinking of, the one where no, they're not doing it. They're on a truck themselves. They got 3 rolling, and I'm really driving. The hillbilly mobile is built by the same guy that built the original hillbilly mobile, and because it's solid rubber tires, no air in them, it pulls to the left and to the right.
So do I, by the way.
I'm driving like, like they do in the old movies where they do the rear screen projection and they drive like this the whole time because they think, oh, this is how I drive. When really you keep your hands pretty solid.
But with these tires,
with these tires, I'm actually going like this, and I'm smiling like, and Jethro,
like an idiot.
But I'm so loaded. I can barely, like the actress I'm working with, who plays my mom, is in double. She's like, I'm totally double vision. No, she's Granny.
She's Granny, right?
Yeah, I can't remember the name. Penny? No, I can't remember her name. But yeah, she's like, I'm double visioning it, and just doing that line, I'm Jethro. I'm out of my mind. Yeah. Luckily, it was only that one scene. Otherwise, I couldn't have made it through a full day. That's for sure. I hadn't slept.
No.
Oh. I get into the trailer, and all of the ladies go, "Whoo!" because they could smell me. I'm like, come on. I reeked. Yeah.
What a pro they thought you were.
Right. I know, right?
You were right
I
by
thought
the
I
way.
had 3 days. I really thought I had 3 days. So get drunk one night and then you got a couple days to recover and then Sunday I'd be fine. Because I was in when I was 25 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Varney from Lexington, Kentucky, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought it was
You were
Kentucky,
right.
but I wasn't sure.
Home
Yeah.
of serious bourbon, Lexington, Kentucky.
That guy could really drink. What a lovely guy. And I will say, like, on our days off, he would go to children's hospitals, right to the cancer ward, terminal ward, and as Ernest, in his Ernest outfit, and because he knew the kids liked Ernest.
Yeah.
And I was really amazed by that.
Yeah, most people go when they're asked. Very few.
No, he just showed up.
Right.
And what are they going to do? Turn Ernest away? They knew the kids would love it. Kids loved it. So he just did it. And
How
it's a
black
good
is the heart of that doctor who says, yeah, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Thanks for stopping by.
It's not really scheduled, so
Yeah.
you might want to go through the office on that. Next time, okay?
Yeah, do you know someone here?
Yeah.
Man. All right, we have a segment on the show called Famous Questions.
Okay.
These questions themselves are not famous.
Okay.
They've
been answered by.
They are written,
Okay.
designed for you by famous friends and/or co-stars.
Well, that's interesting.
Sure, it is.
Yeah.
It's really just a way of showing off that I have access to these people.
I know your research is amazing.
Well, J Mike up in the crow's nest there does the research.
Is that right?
He does.
Well done.
I mean, I choose what to do with the research.
Okay, not too much credit given your way. I get it.
But man, does he give me a lot to choose from.
Yeah.
Your first famous question,
Yeah.
I won't tell you who it's, let's see if you can guess.
Okay.
Do you ask him if he still has that shitty VW Bug? Or have you, as I suspect, gone Tesla?
No, I drive a 1969 280 SE Mercedes. It is a pretty car. I bought it when we were picked up for the 8th and 9th season of the Drew Carey Show. Before that time, I drove, that was Craig Ferguson.
Yes, correct.
I drove a car that I bought for $500 for 10 years. And Craig, as the Scots are notoriously cheap, just thrilled every day that he saw it. Because, like, for example, it got stolen at one point. Why anybody would steal it, I have no idea. But it was stolen, I got it back, and they had stolen the hood, the front hood. So I replaced the hood, but then I was like, why paint it, really? No, but it was not an aesthetic
the
thing. So it
front-
was primer.
The front was the boot, where it was actually.
Yeah, it's the boot, exactly. So yeah, they. I just left it primer gray for another 4 years, and then, but then the lock was busted, so I just tied it down with a rope.
How did you get Cassius Jethro?
Yeah, so it was actually on the Warner Brothers tour. They would come in and they go, "Hey, there's Diedrich Bader's car." Everybody would laugh. Ryan Stiles reminded me of this all the time because his trailer was right by where we parked, so he would hear the laughter. It was like part of their bit. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That
but
really-
Craig was particularly fast. That's how I knew it was Craig.
Yeah. I have to tell you who the next famous question is from
Okay.
because there are 11 questions
That's a lot of questions.
from Pamela Adlon.
Oh.
And then we'll talk about that and
Yeah.
her. I'm going to read all the questions back to back, and
Okay.
then we'll circle.
All right.
Because I thought it was amazing. When I reach out to these people, I ask for a question.
Yeah, a question.
And I
Pamela
say
gives
it
you
can
11.
be
Yeah.
silly or insightful or neither.
Right, okay.
These are her questions.
All right.
What is your favorite thing to do? Where is your happy place? What kind of music do you love? What's your least favorite thing to do? Are there any particular kinds of people that you are allergic to? What's your secret talent or ability? Do you know how much people love you?
Aw.
Yeah. So let's go through them. What is your favorite thing to do?
Other than the obvious, be with my children, I really love gardening.
That's correct. Well, where is your happy place? I believe in the garden.
My garden.
What kind of music do you love?
I like jazz and punk rock from the 80s.
Nice. What is your least favorite thing to do?
Probably bury my parents.
Yeah, here, I'm thinking all selfish, like airport pickup drop-off.
No.
Oh.
I mean, that's probably my least favorite thing I did. Of the things I've done. That really sucks.
I'm just wondering if there's a more successful way to make me feel like an asshole for asking. I don't
what I
believe
do.
there is. I don't believe. Yeah,
Home run.
That is a correct answer, by the way. Yeah. For at least favorite thing to do, bury my parents. It's right here. Are there
Good
any
research, by the way.
Are there any particular kinds of people that you are allergic to?
Yes, actors that are ungrateful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I find them extremely irritating. I think our chosen profession is so fun.
I'm not even
so
sure it's a
hard
job,
to do.
yeah.
I'm not even sure it's a job. I have such a good time doing it. I love being together with the crew. You remember, I love hanging out. I love a set. I love it.
Yeah.
When I see somebody be difficult on a set, especially when they're actors, it just really irritates me on such a fundamental level.
Yeah.
That I can't stand it.
I usually say if you ever hear an actor complain, just slap them for a day and a half because, it really is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Your secret talent and/or ability,
Well.
other than gardening.
Oh, yes, right. Let me see. My secret talent. I don't know if I really have a talent that people
Well, we know
don't
that you
about.
can impersonate a French boy being hit.
That's right. Grab my pen and my baguette. No, I don't know if I really have a secret talent. I think all is revealed at some point or another as an actor. I love being a character actor. I know you do a ton of impressions. Your Alan Arkin, of course, is incredibly famous. I was asked by a fan if you could do your Alan Arkin.
I will do it only by way of saying how I got upgraded to a better hotel room in Toronto. So for years, did the stand-up bit of leaving phone messages on Alan Arkin's machine as Alan Arkin.
Yeah, great. Call
Message
yourself.
to myself. What
It
the
is
hell?
really good.
Oh, yes. And then I get a call from him. That's not funny. So I go to the Toronto Film Festival. You know, whatever hotel you go to in Toronto during the festival, we have no room.
Right, yeah.
So I'm under a block of rooms from the people who made the film.
Yeah.
And in the long line, people yelling like it's the last chopper out of Nam. Just, how do you not have my room? People are losing their minds.
They're panicking.
And the guy at the front behind the desk gives me one of these.
Okay.
I walk up to the front.
Yeah.
Thinking he's going to apologize for not having my room.
Yeah.
I'm going to get that special treatment. And he says, I love your Alan Arkin bit. Let me see if I can upgrade your room.
Wow.
So the Alan Arkin bit
That
was the
totally
reason
paid off.
Yeah, and I thought, you know I'm in movies though, right?
Also an actor. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. It was astonishing.
Yeah.
I don't, and I was trying to think, was I even more impressed that routine was the one thing out of whatever those options might be?
Yeah, there's a ton of options. That's what they really loved.
Also,
that's what worked for you.
I had never been given special treatment ever because of that.
Right. Yeah, right.
I mean, the
You look
special
at the
moment.
special table. Welcome. Yeah. Alan Arkin.
The special moment came from Alan Arkin saying, "Have you noticed since you started impersonating me, I don't stammer as much? I didn't like the sound of it. I didn't care for it, and now I just talk."
That's hilarious.
You do a ridiculous amount of voiceover work and have for a couple of decades now.
Yeah.
This is the one bizarre asterisk to my career. I've done almost none.
That's odd, considering that you have range.
It makes no
and
sense.
not only that, well, wait a second. Now, you did do voiceover. Technically, that was a voiceover on the Drew Carey Show, where you were in the first year of the show.
I was going to say,
don't remember this.
We worked for a full season together.
Full season, where I only met you once, because you only came on that one time. The rest of the time was
It was
playback,
the final episode of the season.
Final episode, you come out with your box. You're fired.
Yeah. Drew called me at home and said, your character and the interaction with me is so successful.
Right.
The network wants me to have a boss. I don't imagine you want to be sixth lead on my show.
Yeah. And
So
you're like, no.
we have to fire you.
Yeah.
And what I should have said was, are you going to run for 9 years?
Right. Yes. I was just thinking that. I was calculating how much money you lost from that.
As was I.
Oh, by the way. Nice one.
Not that I would have seen any of it.
Yeah.
Nope, not
It would have
bad.
all gone to her.
It would have all gone to her. That's right, honey.
Sweet.
Just half.
Uh-huh.
When I did have Craig Ferguson on the show, I never stopped pointing that out to him.
Could have been the boss.
That he owes me
all that
8
time.
seasons of 10%. Yeah, pretty amazing. And also, I did the voice of Dwight D. Eisenhower in The Right Stuff.
Oh.
Because I was living in San Francisco as a comedian at the time, and Philip Kaufman, the director, got an actor who looked like him but sounded like Daffy Duck. And they said, we got to find someone to do the voice.
Right, yeah, that makes
and I said, well, I wasn't around when he was president.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have been born, maybe not. But I certainly don't know, and they just played a tape, and it sounded enough like Clark Gable that I could, the first American in space is not going to be a chimpanzee.
That's great.
And then Ewok, what was it, Endor?
Battle of Endor.
Battle of Endor.
You did voiceover on that,
But there was just 4 of us going, that was it.
Well, that's a lot of it.
But that's
a
tremendous amount of what you've done.
I do a lot of voiceovers. I'm extremely lucky to be in that world. It's really fun. There's no difficult people in voiceover, because if you are difficult, you're fired. And then, just as you did with Eisenhower, somebody they'll just play a tape. I've replaced a number of on-camera actors because they get in there and they get difficult, and they're like, okay, you only have a contract for each episode. You have no contract for the series. So you're hired by the episode.
Yeah.
So if there's a guy that can come in and do you, then you're out. So because of just successive generations of social Darwinism, everybody's super nice.
Yes.
No one wants to get fired.
I noticed that.
They're really nice. And they're very talented.
Yeah.
Extremely talented. I always feel like I'm going to get tapped on the shoulder and they're going to go, listen, we realize you were not supposed to be here and you should just leave.
Oh, I felt that way.
The whole time?
From the beginning. Yeah, no, I mean, I joked that I waited the first 2 weeks of A Few Good Men, because that was the first brought up to the majors, where everywhere I looked there's a movie star.
Yeah,
but the truth is, I kind of feel that way in most jobs.
Yeah, I feel that way a lot.
We've made a horrible error.
Yeah, terrible
mistake.
Spacey.
Can you?
Yeah, I felt that way certainly when I was working on Veep, when I was sitting next to Hugh Laurie, because I was such a huge Hugh Laurie fan, and we were having scenes together, and I just kept thinking, somebody's going to come in here and go, you're really not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
And I would go, you're right, thank God. I was feeling like an imposter. Well, thanks. Yeah, it's a fun show to do. It's a fun show to do. Great cast.
Ridiculously fun.
It is, and she's amazing, and I've been very lucky in these last few years to work with incredibly strong, amazing women. Katie Mixon on American Housewife, Julia on Veep, and Pam, who's truly talented actress.
She's ridiculous.
Yeah, she is, and it's amazing.
And direct every episode this season.
Such a cool, I mean, it's just such a work of art. I really love that show.
And her relationship to her crew is
great,
the way it should be, and
it's like they're all hanging out.
Never is.
Yeah, I know.
There's always a separation.
Yeah, and she doesn't try to overcompensate, or she doesn't yell at the crew, she doesn't harangue them, she doesn't need to let them know that she's the boss all the time in order for them to do what she asks them to do.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm acting, this happened in Chicago, you know, as a way to entertain and also kick a little butt.
Yeah.
I'll say, roll sound, as a way of just saying, we need to get going here, right?
Yeah, get everybody going.
And there's none of that from her. It's just a real sweet disposition.
Yeah.
And
but she is also the boss. That's one thing I really did like. When she asked for something, she got it. The crew is extremely loyal to her.
Yeah.
And I was impressed by that.
Yeah. How many episodes did you end up doing for this season?
This season I did 3. You know, because my contract is with American Housewife and ABC, I have to be loaned out essentially. So she initially wanted me to do 5, and then they got it to 2, and then our Uber producer at American Housewife called ABC and got it up to 3. Aaron Kaplan, who I'm really grateful for, that made that call, because it's a great, I think, ultimately historic show. I think it's a game changer as a show.
Better things, yeah. The second episode, I think we were saying,
it's gorgeous, work of art.
Yeah, it got to a level, I think we were talking about, that I kept saying, this is the most personal show I think I've ever seen. And that's including, you know, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Totally. And
Curb's
funny.
like an exaggerated personal.
Yeah. Well, this is very personal.
This is very
well, you were there too.
Yes.
It's very personal. Every parent has felt that way at some point. Everyone who's ever tried to reset their lives has felt like the panic situation of, oh no, I don't want to do any of it. She goes to a party, she's about to meet a lovely guy, and she leaves. And then that whole thing at the beach, I don't want to spoil too much of it because it's coming up in the week, but it's really beautiful.
And also the the date that she decides to
Yeah.
bail
The
on
way she
was historical. So all these little pieces, set pieces,
Yes.
within telling of a true life.
Right, and the larger context of what it is to be a woman and her own personal pressures.
Yeah. She's pretty spectacular, and tonight happens to be the Emmys, where she's nominated for the first time.
Yeah.
From season 1.
I saw her at ADR. For those that don't know, that ADR is when you have to replace dialogue. So we had to do it at the studio where I'm shooting American Housewife. When they turned around camera, I went and did the ADR and then went back to American Housewife. I didn't even know where I was going. I thought it was ADR for American Housewife because our schedule is just so nuts. They were like, oh, now you have to go to ADR. So I got in there and I saw Pam. She told me that she was going to do your show, but then she was like, nah, then I remembered I had to go to the Emmys.
Yeah.
She forgot she was going to the Emmys.
She was scheduled for today.
She forgot.
By the way, first I locked you for this date.
Yeah. And then you got Pam, so I got bumped.
Pam said, I think I can do it. And before I even had a chance to contact you to bump you, that she realized, pretty wonderful. Sam.
Yes, sir.
ADR stands for?
Additional dialogue recording.
That's good. Show business.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, well, some people don't, I mean, I guess looping, but I don't know what term people would know for ADR. Maybe they know looping? I'm not sure. People know more about the business than we think.
Well, I do remember a moment in time when USA Today, that horrible newspaper, posted on Tuesday the box office grosses of the top 20 films. Prior to that, you would hear about number 1, maybe number 2.
Yeah.
But this was a list. And that was I think.
And Entertainment Tonight was a big deal.
Yeah,
People thought that they were insiders. Behind the scenes
was the first time.
Go to a set.
That was one of the things that John Landis spoke about in terms of the making of half-hour show he sold to Showtime, I believe, of Thriller, was how they funded
Thriller.
The video,
actual video.
the 17-minute short film that was the music video for Thriller.
Right. Yeah.
Was by selling, because that was something that hadn't happened before.
Right.
What do you mean the making of? Yeah. We're going to shoot B-roll.
It's actually really brilliant. I didn't know that.
Pretty
really
spectacular.
Yeah, that's a very smart idea.
Tell me about this program you're doing now that you've mentioned now a couple of times and I haven't asked you about.
American Housewife?
American Housewife.
American Housewife is going to be on September 27th after Modern Family on ABC.
Horrible lead-in.
Terrible
Sorry
lead-in.
about that.
No one's heard of that show. So yeah, it's a great piece of real estate on ABC. Last year we were after The Middle on Tuesday nights. They've obviously bumped us up. They believe in us. It's really exciting and at the same time really terrifying, because I was sort of hoping that we would be like Wings, so no one would know we're still on. The people would go, "You're still on? You're still doing that show?" Like that. I just wanted it to keep going. But now after Modern Family, we're really going to be in a spotlight, and it's exciting, and I'm nervous, and I don't know what to think about it. It's a lot going on. I really love shooting the show. The star, Katie Mixon, as I mentioned, is a really lovely actress. The kids on the show are really great. Allie and Carly. The other 2 regulars are really lovely, and it's just a good group, and I'm really enjoying that. My entire career, single camera, yeah, is basically the way to put it. Although we shoot with 3 cameras, it is single camera. I'm loving that because largely what I've done with my career, in fact, I can't think of any other example, is characters. I've always been a character actor. This is really what I wanted to do. And this character, Greg, is very close to myself. My siblings are academics. My dad was, had a PhD and taught for a long time as well. I've grown up in a lot of academic circles. So the fact that he's an academic is very easy for me to drop into. I don't have to do any of the back work about what I would be thinking about anything, because he is essentially just an extension of myself. So it's a very easy thing to do. His sense of humor is mine. They write really, really great jokes for me, and I'm very happy. For me, it's the absolute zenith of my career. I'm really ecstatic to be on this show.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, this particular time in my career, with American Housewife, Veep, and Better Things, and then 5 or 6, I can't even remember now, animated series going. I'm the busiest and the happiest I've ever been.
We couldn't wish more for you.
Thank you.
Really.
Thanks.
Because there are not enough happy
Happy actors?
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of us are miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it becomes part of the, well, first of all, the job, the only job we mentioned before, it may not be a job. The only job is in the pursuit of work.
Yeah.
And that's the part that can break people
that's right.
after over
Mostly
time.
you're right. Your job is to look for work.
Yeah.
And we're, a lot of us anyway, and I'll count myself, deeply insecure people, and then a lot of what happens is rejection. So we put ourselves out there and we're rejected over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems counterintuitive, but it's the world we chose.
That's the only advice I ever give when asked, which is, are you able to give yourself over to this as a way that you'll be spending the rest of your life, that people will line up to tell you, no, you're not right?
Yeah, I mean, one moment that happened to me, as I said, I used to go see a lot of stage work. There was an actor I really liked, Stanley, I'm not remembering his last name, but I really liked him. He was in a Pirandello play, Enrico IV, at the Folger. At the Arena stage in DC. I saw it 3 or 4 times. I really loved it, and I wanted to be a stage actor. And so I went backstage, and he was just taking off his makeup as he walked off stage, and I walked out of the theater, I should say. And I said, I'm a young actor. I really want to be a classical actor. Do you have any advice for me? And he goes, quit. And I was thunderstruck at that moment because I thought he would be encouraging or something. I don't know. But then I realized, okay, if I can bounce back from that, from somebody I idolized saying quit, then I can face rejection. And that's a lot of what it is. A lot of the reason that I love my garden as much as I do is that when I get rejected, which happens all the time, let's face it, I used to drink, and I would just drink and just be miserable about it, and it would cycle in and it would get really bad. Now, what I do is I get a rejection, I walk out in the garden, and I allow myself to be depressed about it, and I'll look at the garden, and before I know it, I'm like, oh, I really need to work on that. I should get a shovel. And then I've forgotten it.
Yeah.
And it's really over.
You have purpose.
I do.
Yeah.
And I have something to do with my hands and enough to concentrate on where I'm not thinking about it anymore.
Yeah, and also you don't need approval from outside.
I don't need for that. My garden gives me all the approval now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite child in the garden at this point?
Right now, because it's late summer, there's the dahlias are coming up and they're looking particularly beautiful. York and Lancaster is one of my favorites because it's heavily variegated, so it changes all the time. I like that.
Those are 7 words I'm not familiar with. But I love that you are.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
You are in 2, I'm just going to say arguably the 2 biggest cult favorite comedies of all time, in Office Space and Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Every day there's quotes coming at you.
Oh, totally.
From these movies.
Oh, yeah. I'll be in a parking lot of the grocery store with my kids, and some guy will pull by and go, hey, 2 chicks at the same time.
Yeah.
Go, okay. All right. So let's get you back in your... No, I love it. Napoleon particularly, was just a labor of love. My agent told me not to do it.
Right. There's no money.
There's no money. There's nobody in it. You know how
it's written by no one.
Yeah.
No one's directing.
It's like a student film. Why would you go all the way there? And, I was like, it's funny. That's it.
I also like in the research where when everyone was telling you not to consider it, even read it, you were just open and honest and said, I'm not getting a lot of offers in film. This is a straight up offer.
Straight up offer.
I'm going to read it.
Yeah. In fact, the only offer I've ever gotten for a movie was Napoleon Dynamite. So, I mean, that's, and they had, the producer told me, Doc, he told me, they'd gone through literally everyone, and they finally arrived at me. I was like, it got to me?
That's the first thing I say when I get an offer for film. Never tell me who you went to first.
Right, because it's, it's just the way it is. It's totally fine. Office Space I had to fight for. It took a long time because they had to go down through their list. Initially, I had just seen Bottle Rocket at the New Beverly, and I really loved Bottle Rocket. It was great. And I thought Owen Wilson was just the bee's knees. And so basically I came in with sort of a Owen Wilson impression. And because I was like, I'll do the voice like Owen Wilson. And kind of the whole dude thing. And so that's the way Lawrence actually was. And so I signed in, didn't notice, sat down. Owen Wilson walks out of walks out of the audition room. And I go, holy shit. I'm sure his Owen Wilson is better than my Owen Wilson. I better come up with a character really fast.
Luke Wilson.
No. So that's what I did. That's where I came up with Lawrence. Right as I was walking in the door, I was like, well, I can do a good old boy really easy because I'm from the South. So I just dropped into that, and I heard Mike laugh. He ruined the first take because he just was giggling through the whole thing, and because of Lawrence's seriousness and his accent, I think it was a combination Mike really responded to.
Yeah.
So I got the call that Mike really wants to do it. The studio doesn't want you. So they have to go through the entire list, as you know. Like, first we're going to go Johnny Depp. That's a great choice. And I think they settled on like Billy Bob Thornton. Billy said that he was going to do it, but he wanted $5 million because that's his quote. And Mike told me, he called him at home and was like, we have $5 million, that's our production budget. So we can have you say your lines as Lawrence, or we could make the movie, you could do it as a no. So he passed because it takes a long time for an actor to get up to that quote. I completely understand. But so anyway, he dropped out and that's how I got it, yeah. But yeah, Owen Wilson walked out. Isn't that funny?
Spectacular. Did you a solid, by the way.
Totally, yeah. Completely.
That's one of those beautiful
character.
Moments where you have an idea.
Yeah.
It's taken away by outside sources.
Yeah.
You have to think on your feet.
Right.
And it all works out better.
Yeah, it does. It's a little bit like the rule of improv, yes and. Like, you just have to go. Like, now things have changed. Like, maybe as you walked on stage, you're like, oh, I'm going to be a coach, and we're going to be stuck in an elevator. Let's go the most cliched improv thing. And somebody comes up and goes, it's amazing, we're on Mars. You're like, okay, yes, we're on Mars. Because that's what you have to do. You can't go, no, I'm in an elevator. Otherwise, that's the end of that.
David Steinberg was part of Second City early in his career.
Yeah.
And he later had his own television show, and some of it was based on the success he had from this one particular character, which was a insane psychiatrist. Like, get off me! That crazy.
Yeah.
And it was born from an improv sketch where they got a suggestion, and back in Second City they would get a suggestion, apparently go off stage, put on some wardrobe things, and then go out and do it, as opposed to just do it.
Just doing it.
And when they went backstage, he said to his scene partner, I'll go out first, I'll be the crazy patient. Waiting for the doctor to come into the office.
Right.
And while he was out there, he started messing with props and things.
Yeah.
And a moment shifted where he could sense that the audience thought it was especially funny because they thought he was the doctor who was crazy, who was waiting for the patient.
That's funny.
So his scene partner came in and he rushed to him and hugged him and said, they think I'm the doctor.
Oh, whisper to him.
Just to let him go. To let him know.
Yeah.
He in fact said something like, they think I'm the doctor, fuck you.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
And go.
Turn into this show thing.
Yeah.
The Office Space thing, tell me about the 10th anniversary screening in Austin, Texas.
Well, okay, so I got to go back to the original screening of the picture was on a Tuesday night, and we shot Drew Carey on the Tuesday night, so I couldn't go. So my wife and I, who was here earlier, went on opening weekend. Saturday night, we went out to dinner, big thing, like, it's gonna be great. Crowds, because this movie, I just thought the script was fantastic. I loved Peter's apartment, I just knew that the art direction, everything was I was gonna love this picture. So we go Saturday night, there's no one there.
Nope.
It's just me and my wife in the theater, that's it. And when you've been in show business long enough, I couldn't enjoy the movie because all I was thinking was, it's a bomb. It's gonna do nothing.
Yeah.
I fought hard. I was elated to be in it. I loved the set. Everything about it was positive until this moment, and it is going to bomb, go away. No one's ever going to hear of this picture.
It's just too much of a heartbreak.
It was a total shattering heartbreck. Yeah. It also made me question my taste because I really liked the movie.
It made you question everything.
Everything, really. Yeah, sexuality, everything. Whether I ever lived in France. Touched myself just to make sure.
Do I know what a baguette is?
I just didn't know, as I felt like I like this picture and no one else does. Like, I'm way off base. I should just stick to television and really just go back to work. So I hadn't seen the pictures since that weekend. Even when it came on Comedy Central, I didn't watch it. I hadn't seen it for 10 years.
But you certainly knew.
I knew
from
after
fans coming up and quoting
totally,
it.
which only happened about 1.5 to 2 years after, by the way. So for that amount of time, I basically forgot about it. And then we were driving downtown to go to the taper downtown, and two guys with tats in a pickup truck come up, and they're like, they poke each other, and I think maybe it's from the Drew Carey Show or something. And they go, "Hey, what'd you do if you had $1 million?" I was like, "Oh my God, that's from Office Space." I'm like, "Two chicks at the same time, man," and they're like, "Yeah," you know. Good. And so I turned to my wife and I go, "That was an Office Space reference." She goes, "Oh right, yeah, that was." That was the first hint that we had that it was taking on its own life. And then the 10-year anniversary in Austin with pretty much everybody in the cast, everyone I should say in the cast except Ron and Jen. And so 1 and 2 weren't there, but everybody else. At the Austin Film Festival, sold out in like 2 minutes or whatever, and people came from all over the country, and it was like the Rocky Horror Picture Show in the best possible sense. Like everybody knew every line, the laughs were just cascading down. They just loved it. And so that was the full circle of it, and it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty spectacular.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mike Judge to work with and for.
The best. Just the greatest. Yeah, I mean, you know, we would do one as is, and then we would throw it, you know, to the wind and just see what happened. You know, I mean, I walked out the warning to Peter of like what's going to happen to him when he went to prison. We just did it over and over and over and over again until, I mean, I was running out of jokes. And then the one,
do you
I think it
remember
was
any
like,
that?
Oh, there was like, "Don't come back in a dress." I think you put that in the outtakes. Oh, there were just a ton. But the one, just Lawrence being super serious about, you know, watch your cornhole, man. You know, like he's really concerned. That was like the 12th take. And I just thought of it because I remember Beavis and Butthead referred to your rectum as the cornhole. And I was like, I bet he'll take cornhole. I bet he'd love cornhole. So I'm going to work that somehow. Because after a while, you know, as like coming up with joke after joke after joke, you're like, okay, I'm reaching for whatever I can get. And he put it in the movie. I was very happy about that. So
I wanted to make sure I had every opportunity to allow our dear friend and co-star Greg Cromer to weigh in.
Oh, Greg, yeah.
To weigh in with a famous question.
Yeah.
And sure enough, 6 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So sorry, we had a raccoon issue all morning.
They had a raccoon issue.
If you're still there.
Yeah, okay. We're still here.
Here's a question for you. Half-hour comedy is the obvious direction for a giant German man.
Yes.
But did you ever itch for the sad documentaries or fitness video route, excuse me, witness.
Fitness video route.
Also, you have quite the green thumb, as I discovered during one of our conversations on set.
Yeah.
A large vegetable garden. Explain jicama.
Explain jicama. Well, it's a root.
Sam's allergic.
Yeah,
Deathly
you're allergic? Oh, yeah, it's a root. I don't really grow root vegetables. My sister, who is kind of my mentor in all of this, she never grows root vegetables, so I just stay away from jicama and the rest.
Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Fennel bulbs, I think that would be the closest I get to
I also wrestled under that name in the 70s.
Fennel bulbs?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, because of your, right, yes. The legend is true then. I want to say hi to Meg Donnelly. She plays my daughter on that show, and she just told me that she's watching the podcast right now. She's a very sweet girl.
That's
really
spectacular.
Yeah. She's going to be doing a Disney movie coming up pretty soon. It's going to be out. Zombies, she's dancing, something like that.
Dancing zombies for Disney.
Dancing zombies in high school.
Yeah. We can't thank you enough for spending your Sunday a bit of it
absolutely my pleasure.
with us.
You know, I didn't know what you would be like. I've been a fan for a long time. We met that brief time in the Drew Carey Show, but then when we were hanging out on Pam's show, I was like, he's the nicest guy in the world.
Stop it already.
No,
Yeah, man,
no,
he's
really
been
great.
on 2 episodes of The Simpsons and you haven't even mentioned it.
Oh, see, this is why you're here. I finally got to do my first. You do say one of Jamie's favorite.
Well, you have a couple. You've done The Simpsons twice.
Yeah.
Right. You were in the when Marge gets kidnapped by the Hells Angels,
Yeah.
and then you were in the Spring Break episode.
Spring Break, yeah.
Yeah, and
I replaced Emma Walsh. in that.
But
Yeah.
one of my favorite lines in that,
Right.
or my favorite line in that episode is Marge is like, "Oh, I love your seersucker suit," and he's like, "Seersucker? I couldn't afford that in a civil servant salary. This is nearsucker." Love it. And then
Yeah.
also in the Hell's Angels
That's Mike
one,
Scully. Mike Scully is really, really talented writer.
in the Hell's Angels one, this is one of Jason's favorite. Every time Jason and I hear the word resume, we go resume. We just can't get used to saying that.
These are
Every
fanatics and
time
quote Simpsons all
the
the
word
time.
resume is said in my life, I have to go resume. I just
Yeah.
can't get used to saying that.
Yeah, good God, that show is amazing. That's a different league of voiceovers. You know, the
Well, certainly.
evening voiceover is
Certainly.
like the very different than what I normally do, which is the daytime stuff for kids.
Yeah.
So it's a different world, but equally as fun.
I finally got to do my first time on the
Oh, yeah?
on the Simpsons for this coming season,
Cool.
and brought her and Jay back to the recording session, and there was a director there waiting to give direction, and then James L. Brooks walked in and said, "All right,
No kidding.
let's
What?
do this."
You had the man himself in there.
Yeah.
That's rare, you know.
Well, I found out just how rare it was after he left, because I sensed that no one
It's a
expected
different
him.
studio, yeah.
And I said to the director, who had already been stationed and ready to go, that was a surprise for everyone, right?
Yes, yeah.
And she said, Jim hasn't been in to direct an episode in 4 years. The last one was Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga.
So I'm going on tour.
Yeah, with Lady Gaga.
With Lady Gaga.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was part of the deal.
You were born that way. Fennel returns.
Turns out,
Yeah.
I was in fact born this way. Speaking of which, we can't let you leave without
Yes.
a little fun game we like to close the show with.
Okay.
I did not explain this prior.
Okay.
It's called the Larry King game.
Larry King game.
And it's fun to play with friends at parties.
Okay. Does it involve suspenders at all?
It can.
All right.
It's an improv game.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you to reenact a very special moment, a favorite moment of ours, let's just say,
Okay.
when Larry had a show on the CNNNN,
Okay.
where right before he would go to the phones to talk to whoever was calling,
Yes.
sometimes he would just suddenly stop, stare down the barrel, and share something about himself, an opinion, a thought, a favorite cookie. It was always something he would share that no one truly needed to know.
Right.
That's the moment we'd like you to reenact. So, to do this, I need three things. One, a bad Larry King impression. I'm not interested in a good one.
Okay.
I want a strange, odd choice for Larry King's voice.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what makes me laugh.
All right.
Then, as Larry,
Yeah.
share something about Larry down the barrel to the folks
Right.
before you go to the phones.
Okay.
So it's not about you at all, it's about Larry.
Yeah.
And then go to the phones, and when you do, the name of the city, if it's funny sounding, that's not going to hurt.
Okay.
Those are the
All right.
three objectives.
All right.
There's your camera. Take your time. Involve suspenders only if you need to.
I've been having a little problem with my truss recently, and I found that the suspenders, when I attach them to the truss, doesn't help at all. But that was something I discovered. We're going to Poughkeepsie.
That is your Larry King game. Thank you so much.
It was a real pleasure. Man.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Come back soon and often, and continue success with the new show, which comes back September 27th.
September 27th, 9:30 on ABC.
After that little-known show, Family, what was it?
Family
Modern?
Oh,
Something.
right. Family Modern. Yeah.
Look it up. Check your local listings.
somewhere.
I think it's been around a couple seasons.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
All right, now sit there uncomfortably while I wrap things up for the folks at home. There you have Diedrich. Sorry, that's the only way I can pronounce it.
Sure, I get it.
As a Hebrew. And Sam Levine.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back and thank you.
Thank you. Happy to be back.
Same with Jamie Ann Fox.
That's correct.
Yeah, thank you.
I know. I always, when we brought up Office Space, I always think of, I've identified so much with the character of Michael Bolton
Yes, you did.
because my name's Jamie Foxx.
Oh, right. You get
So
that a lot.
I get it a lot.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Michael Bolton, you speak to my soul.
Yeah.
Luke Allen crushing it again as always. Thank you. Evil Dr. Kenny Chen, good to see your face. And thanks for spectacular work. Ryan Noble, up there in the crow's nest with Jason. Jaden Fax on the makeup, did a marvelous job. Corey Levin on post. I'm not sure who I'll be doing an audio show with to fill in next week's show, so maybe look on the Twitter. And then we'll come back with Matt Bester here October 1st. And Pamela Adlon shortly thereafter. And don't forget, tune in live October 29th for Mr. Ricky Gervais. That's all I've got for you. Until next time, and as always, get out of my face.